all of it. I'm very time for talking. So if we look at the way that they draw the graph, I will still do it, finish it, and keep it on the note. You have to do 3 C to X, is that right? Right. So the equation. Thank you. The equation for number 3C was y equals -3 to the power x. Guys, I would have plotted another point on this side, right? I'll be in tab 3, okay. So if you can't have it later and then have a conversation on it, put down please. So in the book they only ever do 2 points, but we have to do 3. Alright, so I would have done -1 here, which would have given you a third as the y value. Okay, so make sure, yes, sorry, -1/3, yes, you are correct. So make sure that you have that third point, right? You have your y-intercept of 0, -1. If you sub in 1, you would have got a -3 as your y value. So that is the second point. And then the third point over here, -1, -1/3. Okay, is that fine for C? In D, you actually did have an x-intercept. I hope you guys recognize that you had to calculate that there. The y-intercept was at -16. Bit of a pain to draw, but remember you don't have to draw it to scale, alright? The asymptote was at -18, because that was the Q value. To get your x-intercept, I have already done that calculation, so I'll just show you the calculation quickly. I just want to show you the graph. So how do you know that you're going to get an x-intercept? You need to think of where the asymptote is. It's at -18. And then because your A value is positive, that means your graph is above the asymptote. So if it's above -18, it's going to have to go through the x-axis at some point. Alright, so that's what I did there. Okay, horizontal asymptote -18 for your y-intercept, you make x equal to 0, you get that. For the x-intercept, you need to make y equal to 0, right? So you take your whole equation equal to 0, move the 18 over, divide by 2, and now you need to get your bases the same. Alright, how can I write 9 with a base of 3? Oh dear, 3 squared, hey? 3 squared is 9. Alright, so you do that. So then x is 2. Tell you what's the question? So that's what I was explaining to Daniel. If you look at your asymptote, because it's -18, but the graph is above the asymptote because your A value is positive. So guys, again, your asymptote is -18, so it's below the x-axis. Because your A value is positive, that means that your graph has to lie above the asymptote, meaning that at some point it's going to cut the x, or the x-axis, sorry. Okay. Yes, so guys, this is now the other thing, right? So we have our y-intercept. When you calculate your x-intercept, can we focus please? That is a positive x value. So that's why I didn't sub in another positive x value. I then subbed in a negative x value to get my third point. I decided to sub in -2 so that it was symmetrical. But it's fine if you sub in -1. No problem. What did you get then? Does anyone do that? -17.33. Okay, so if you sub in -1, you would have got a -17.33, which is also perfectly fine. So there's nothing wrong with that. Because I got +2, I decided to sub in -2, but you don't have to. Okay, can I go back to the graph? Right, there we go. There is the graph. So your other point is going to be somewhere here, right? Whether you did -1 or -2, it's fine. We just label that point please. Yeah. Right. No, All right, E, can we look at E? It is actually there on the board. Right, so E also had an x-intercept. In this case, guys, you needed to look at your Q value with positive 6, right? So your asymptote is above the x-axis. Your A value was negative, meaning that the graph lies below the asymptote. Does it make sense that it will then have to have an x-intercept? Okay, so that is how you know that you have to calculate that. I didn't get as far as that working. Well, you guys are right to finding that x-intercept. I will still do it and I'll post it to you guys and look at it just in case. Yeah. So you look at what your asymptote is and your A value. Guys, can everyone listen? I'm not going to answer this question again, especially not if people are talking while I'm explaining. To figure out whether you have an x-intercept, you look at what your asymptote is and what your A value is. If your asymptote is positive, it's above the x-axis, right? And then so 6 in the set. But then your A value is negative, meaning the graph has to lie below the asymptote. So if the graph is below y equals 6, it has to go through the x-axis. There's no other way. It's not going to do like this and then curve like that. Not necessarily. If you had your y equals 6, but your A value was positive, then the graph would lie above the asymptote. Then you also wouldn't have an x. Okay, so if your asymptote is positive and your A value is negative, or if your asymptote is negative and your A value is positive, which is what we had in the previous one. Asymptote was negative, but the graph is above the asymptote, because A is positive. Guys, if you're confused, just see if you can solve for x in that equation. Make y equal to 0. If it's an equation that has an answer, then it has. If not, then it doesn't. So that's kind of like the back of that. Okay, you can also look at F. That one also has an x-intercept. Asymptote was -1. The A value was positive, right? Meaning that the graph has to lie above the asymptote. So you have to get your x-intercept there. Sorry, we didn't discuss the third point. Remember, you do have to have a point somewhere here, right? If we sub in x equals 1, what value did you get for E and your 5 and a third? Okay, so 5,33 for this one. So make sure you have your -1, 0, you have your 0, 4, and then you have to have 1 and 5,33. Or if you sub 5 and a third, or if you subbed in a different positive x value, that's fine. But I'm guessing you guys would have subbed in 1. For x, the same thing. This is quite a steep graph going up here. So what do you get if you sub in -1? 24, lovely. Okay, -1 and 24 would have been that third point. But in the exam, generally we don't give you graphs with such big y values because we don't want you to stress about that. That's not really the point, right? We want to see if you can actually draw the graph. So we're not gonna throw a spanner in the works by making you start something actually. Don't stress about that.
Yeah,
At least we give you a friend that's like able to All right, guys, any questions on this? Like I said, I'm going to finish the working and I'll post you step by step how all of these things are calculated, just in case you were confused. All right, for today, you are going to be working. So we are going to page, same exercise. Make a note, please. Exercise 8.3. Oh, sorry, okay, there we go. So same exercise, but now you are going to be working on number 4. I'll tell you which ones to do. Thank you. Always yeah, so in number 4, guys, these are mixed graphs, okay? So they're not telling you which graph you are drawing. It's a mixture of graphs. So I would like you to do from number 4, if you can work on G to J. G to J. So the converter, so they are 4 of the graphs there. G to J. From number 8, this is exercise 8.3, as well as, that's not it. Sorry, let me also just make a note of this quickly. Exercise 8.3 for G to J. Then we are moving to exercise 8.4. Okay, are we ready? Exercise 8.4, this is on page 172. Page 172. Now guys, we didn't do an example of finding the equation. Okay, I'm going to leave that up to you. It's very similar to all the ones that we've done so far. What is the Q value of an exponential graph? The Q value represents the asymptote. So that's how you find your Q value, right? And then how do you think you're going to find other values? That's in points. Okay, so see if you can do that. I'm sure you will be fine. If not, you can ask me. No, definitely not. I would like you to do 3C. 3C and then 4C as well. Okay, so that's what goes there. And then lastly, exercise 8.5, which is on page 178. I would like you to do number 5. So guys, this is now where they've given you, this is actually a hyperbola, wait, hang on. Okay, it's fine, you can do number 5. It's a hyperbola and a straight line, right? But you should find it out. It's just some more interpretation questions. They've given you the two equations. You actually have to find the Q value there and then answer those questions. Alright, so guys, that's quite a lot of work. You have 45 minutes left of this lesson, so you can get through a lot of it, if not all of it. Alright, if you actually work properly now. So I'll put those first few on the board for you, and you can look at that. Remember, for G to J. Right, then we're marking all of this tomorrow, and we're moving on to finance tomorrow. What do you think? For hyperbola, x is in the denominator.